it could just be wind damage. And the National Weather Service will go out after the fact and survey it and let you know if it was wind damage or a tornado. Now, our Torcon is a 2 out of 10, so it's low on the scale. We can't rule out tornadoes. There is certainly the threat, but the bigger threats are that wind and hail, which can be very large. You're talking lime size, egg size, 2 inches in diameter or greater, coming through with these storms. Notice how we have to wait a little bit later in the day. You're going to get some big jet energy that's going to come in, and that means very heavy rain for us here from St. Cloud on 94 down towards 35. Of course, 35 goes all the way down into Kansas, where we just showed you that video, and then they are going to be spreading east as you're trying to go to bed. So this might be a restless night's sleep for some of you if the storms wake you up or wake up an animal in your house or another human in your house. We will see another round come through. And I don't like that they're coming through at night, because that's typically when most people die from these types of storms, because everyone's sleeping and there's no way to be alerted if a tree slices through your house or something like that. As we look towards South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, we have showers and storms. Everything's being pushed up because we have that ridge that Jim was talking about. Our ridge is here. And so all of this is going to go up and over that ridge. But, man, look at that from Rapid City crossing over 90 there and then making its way towards Wall. That's going to be a wall of rain and wind coming through. That blasts through. We're a little bit better as we head into the overnight hours. But notice the widespread area where we could see those very gusty, damaging, severe winds and then hail that could cause dents on your car. Power outages we could see from these storms coming in. This is a look at South Dakota. There's Pierre. And as this all works eastbound, it's going to be on and off. You're not one and done with this. So just keep that in mind, Jordan. You get a big storm that comes through. Then you get a break, you still could have some storms behind
Right. And, you know, that...
To do marathon training, I would purposely run on a rainy day so that you can get a gist of what it's like. So if you are doing any sort of training, obviously not when there's lightning, you don't want to be outside. But if it's just a rainy day, then you might want to do that training. But when you're on a bike, those bikes are expensive. They could be thousands of dollars, like multiple thousands of dollars. So you definitely want to take care of that. And some of that could be salt water too. I know a lot of it is flooding rain, but watch for any of that wash as well. We do have a very wet Florida, at least the west side and the northeast side. That's where we've had some of that heaviest rain and some of those above average totals here. Look at Tampa. Nearly 10 inches above average. Miami, nearly 7. A lot of spots have been wet, but we are quite dry here into Orlando and Vero Beach. The center of the state and kind of the east coast right there over towards the Space Coast, it's been a lot drier for us than the rest of the state. But the rain is coming down. We don't need it in places like Houston, where we're over 14 inches above average for the year. Also in New Orleans, over 8 inches above average for the year. We will get really scattered storms. And notice there's not a lot of rain, but there are a lot of clouds. So that is probably not great if you're hoping to be outside and enjoy the sunshine. But I'll tell you what, when it's so hot and humid, you're like, oh, can a cloud please block the sun just for a few minutes? Please bring a cloud in front of that sun. And there is enough moisture, that's why we have the clouds, but not necessarily enough energy to squeeze out loads and loads of rain. We'll get some. This is all the way through our Friday. Notice it's kind of 1 to 2, 3 to 5. So we're talking the entire week getting that 1 to 2, 3 to 5. But notice, obviously, in the afternoon, you know, we get more storms, dies down into the overnight hours, and then pops back up. Pretty typical summertime stuff for us down here, with the exception of no hurricanes or tropical storms, which we'll take.
Right.
Okay. Building that's happened here in the last 20, 30, even 40 years. Nothing looks the same, right? You go back to your high school, you go back to your college, you go back to your hometown, and nothing ever looks the same. But that's what life is, right? We evolve, we keep growing, we keep building. And that's what happens. And unfortunately, we keep seeing rain in Florida. Now, it is the rainy season, so it's not like this is out of left field. But a lot of this, don't forget, was from when Debbie crossed the state and brought that double-digit rainfall, not only to Florida, but Georgia and South Carolina and North Carolina saw rain out of it, too. It's the east coast of Florida where we are a little bit on the dry side, anywhere from Vero up towards Orlando. So kind of that I-95 corridor until you get south into Miami. That's where we're nearly 7 inches above average. And then on the west coast, we certainly don't need any more rain. Tampa is nearly 10 inches above average on rainfall. State capital there in Tallahassee, We are definitely up to. So Tampa, you're going to get the showers and thunderstorms. This is essentially summertime, action that we're getting, sitting around 90 degrees. Not a whole lot different here. What I will say is that it's not like a total washout here along the Gulf Coast. We got a little spin that's going to give us some of those storms here into Texas. We were talking about that upper level energy last week, right? That is going to was crossing the Gulf. But otherwise, you just kind of get that daytime heating and the differential between the land heating up versus the water heating up. The land heats up a lot faster. And so what happens is you get that air that rushes in from the water, the relatively cooler water, and you get storms to build. And we also have a boundary. It seems like we've had a boundary sitting here for 3 months, I feel like. And then, of course, we had that upper level energy. There's plenty of juice in the atmosphere. It is like juicy McJuicerstein. And that's what we have because of where we're located and the time of year that it is. But notice that it's not going to be widespread 3 to 5 inches. This is all the way through Friday. We'll see those storms, Jim. A little diurnal heating at play here as well. You see the storms die down overnight.
Yeah, these upper level lows, the sitting